All right, everybody, I want y'all to really pay attention to Dr. Percell Sanders. The information that he has to share is very valuable. I once heard him tell me people pay thousands of dollars on their teeth, but won't even pay $100 on their spine. And it made me think, it's because the teeth are the bones you can see, right? But you want to take care of the bones that connect everything. So please give it up for Dr. Percell Sanders.
How's everybody doing today, this evening? My name is Dr. Percell Sanders. For some of you, Jamal. For others, Dr. Sanders. For others, Sweets. My job is to really, not only educate you today, but really just talk about chiropractic and the benefits behind it. First and foremost, from Jacksonville, grew up here, was raised in Jacksonville, Florida. This is home, this will always be home. Graduated from First Coast High School, went to UNF, graduated from UNF, got my bachelor's in health sciences, went on to Life University in Atlanta, Georgia, and got my chiropractic degree from there. One thing I just wanted to start out this presentation, let's start out with a scripture. I told my staff earlier today that I promised to keep it short and concise. They said I don't need a PowerPoint because I can talk. And anybody who knows my family, my grandfather, God rest his soul, passed a few months ago, he was a preacher. And so he could talk. And so I probably got it honest, if anybody knew. But it comes from James 5:13 through 16. It says, is anyone among you suffering? Let him pray. Is anyone cheerful? Let him sing psalms. Is anyone among you sick? Let him call for the elders of the church and let them pray over him, anointing him with oil in the name of the Lord. And the prayer of faith will save the sick, and the Lord will raise him up. And if he has committed sins, he will be forgiven. Confess your trespasses to one another and pray for one another that you may be healed. The effective, fervent prayer of a righteous man avails much. This same scripture continues, and it talks about Elijah, who was a fervent prayer. And he prayed earnestly to God, and he asked God for no rain for 3 years, 6 months. And there was no rain for 3 years and 6 months. And once that time ended, he prayed to God again. He said, all right, God, we need some rain. And so then it rained and fruit was produced at that point. The point is that if you believe that things can happen, it will happen. When it comes to the body, one thing in chiropractic believes that the power that made the body heals the body, right? And ultimately, when we talk about chiropractic, we're talking about, your nervous system, how your nervous system functions, all right? One big philosophy that chiropractic has that we talk about a lot is that healing comes from above down, inside out, ultimately, all right? So before we can answer why chiropractic, we got to answer the question, what is chiropractic, all right? So Randolph asked the question earlier, how many of you actually been to a chiropractor? Now, I didn't see those hands, but by raised hands, how many of you have been to a chiropractor? Cool, awesome. Now, hands down. How many of you actually currently go to a chiropractor now? Shame. Those hands start to disappear a little bit. But here's the question. What is chiropractic? Now, if you can't read, it's multiple choice. I want y'all to kind of answer this to yourselves amongst your table. A, is it a form of alternative medicine aimed at addressing vertebral subluxation? By raising hand, how many believe that's what chiropractic is? Okay. B, chiropractic is where it relieves the spine from nerve interference. How many of you believe that? All right. C, chiropractic is where it allows the body to heal itself. It's self-healing, self-regulating, and self-maintaining. How many of you believe that? All right. And then D, chiropractic is where we give the body an opportunity to regulate pain and or dysfunction without the use of drugs and or surgery. How many of you believe that? All right. Then E, chiropractic allows for optimal wellness and function. All right. And then last, F, all of the above. All of the above. All right. Chiropractic is a lot of things for a lot of people. We really talk about making sure that we're We're whole. It's a whole wellness point of view. All right. Without drugs and surgery, right? It's a different method of healing the body. We're not necessarily trying to address a symptom. We're trying to address what's causing the problem itself. Many people, when they feel pain, back pain, neck pain, headaches, migraines, standard Western medicine says, go to the doctor. Doctor gives you a prescription, and that does what? It helps relieve our what? Symptom. Okay, it's relieving our symptom, but is it actually addressing what's causing the issue at its root cause? No, not at all. Right? Chiropractic said, hey, we can help with that because the nervous system controls everything, right? And if we address the thing that's causing this issue to happen, ultimately, we've actually fixed the problem itself. When is the best time to see a chiropractor? When I'm in pain? Right? After I've already been to the surgeon and they told me I need a major spinal surgery. I don't know. After I've been in an accident, car accident, sports injury, slip and fall, maybe. After I've felt the pain for more than 3 years and I've been ignoring it, it hasn't seemed to help, possibly. Or is the best time to go to the chiropractor before I feel the pain so I can be preventative and keep my body functioning properly? Yep. Or is it all of the above? All of the above. Any of y'all that's been in school and took tests, you know, if you don't know, go with all of the above. You know, some people say pick C, right? All of the above is pretty much right? The thing about chiropractic, in reality, there's really no best time, right? Because it varies from person to person. I can sit here until I'm blue in the face and I can tell each and every one of you the best time to go is before you feel pain, right? That's what I believe. That is the best time to go. However, not everybody believes that. Whether you believe it or not, you know, hey, you might not never even heard of chiropractic, right? Maybe you got in an accident and that's your first time experiencing chiropractic, right? That's the best time to go for you, right? Maybe you are in pain. That's the best time to go for you. Maybe you've been dealing with pain for 3 years and you've been ignoring it and you normalized it. That's the best time to go for you, all right? How often should I see a chiropractor? It's a trick question, right? Every day, every week, once a year, whenever I feel like it. For the rest of your life, it depends, right? Now, some people believe, I don't think I need to go to the chiropractor for the rest of my life, right? I would argue with that with some people. Then I stopped arguing with them, and I asked them this question. I had a guy come into my office one day. He was an avid gym goer. went to the gym all the time. He was like, yeah, doc, I don't think I need to go to the chiropractor all the time, but I've been feeling this pain for quite some time. I said, okay, cool. You know, I said, well, how often do you think you need to go to the chiropractor? He was like, I don't know, whenever I feel pain. I said, okay, you can do that. I said, why you go to the gym? He's like, because I want to stay healthy. Good answer. I said, do you need to go to the gym for the rest of your life? He's like, no. Will you probably go to the gym for the rest of your life? I say, absolutely. I was like, why? He's like, because I want to maintain. Good answer. I say, do you believe that maybe some people go to the chiropractor for the rest of their life because they want to maintain? He's like, you make a good point, Doc. This guy is still a patient. And this was 3 years ago. All right. So yes, it really does all depend. For the rest of your life, you don't have to. But will it be beneficial for you if you did? Yeah, it absolutely would. All right. Now, will it depend based off of your current condition? If somebody came to me and they were in a car accident literally last week, yeah, you probably need to come every week for right now. All right. If you're just maintaining, maybe you do need to come maybe a couple times a month. Okay, but ultimately, it may be something that you're going to do consistently over time. Now, I'll get past this part. This is more so of a philosophical thing. When chiropractic was founded a long time ago, The power that made the body heals the body. We talk about innate intelligence. When I was in school, they talked a lot about universal intelligence and innate intelligence, all right? And every time they said that while I was in school, because I was someone who grew up in the church, every time they said, well, you know, it's universal intelligence, it flows through everything, it creates life and all that. I'm like, man, that sounds a lot like God. I said, shucks. I said, so what you're telling me is God created the body so that the body could heal on its own and it could be self-healing, self-regulating, and self-maintaining. I said, man, that's a powerful being to me. I said, so in other words, universal means God. Then we would have tests. And God wasn't on the choices. I said, shucks. In my mind, I saw universal. I said, well, universal equals God. There we go. That's the answer. And it was right. Nerve interference, holistic approach. Chiropractic is what they call complementary and alternative medicine. So we talk about diet and exercise and life choices, massage, stretching, all these things. These things are important when it comes to chiropractic. It's not just coming in and laying on the table and getting a pop or a crack like you see on Instagram or TikTok or YouTube, right? It's about allowing the body to actually function optimally, all right? So B.J. Palmer once said, medicine is the study of disease and what causes men to die. Chiropractic is the study of health and what causes man to actually live. Where should I go to find the best chiropractor? Proximity, research, call, ask questions. Not all chiropractors are created equally. I believe this, and that's okay, right? There's chiropractors you go to who only deal with people who've been in accidents. There are pediatric chiropractors. My wife, Dr. Ida Rose over here, she has a certificate in Webster technique, so she deals with pregnant moms. You know, she deals with babies. Dr. Mario, she studies with athletes, so she works with people with sports injuries. So there's different opportunities in chiropractic. So it's not all the same across the board. I'm more so your general practitioner. I don't deal with it all. All right. So, as I wrap this up, I just want to give you guys a couple examples. I'm not going to read through this whole thing. You can see it and kind of read it on your own. But I want to show you just a couple examples of patients that I've seen personally in our office. This is Miss Jean. All right. Her name isn't actually Miss Jean, but for HIPAA purposes, I can't tell you her real name. But no, this isn't you, Rick. But this is Miss Jean. Miss Jean, when she first came to us, she was an 8, 9 out of 10 pain. She had been dealing with it for a long time. If you see the pictures, can y'all see what this is right here? This is a lower back, picture of a lower back. These are the actual bones in the spine. Those white things you see are screws. This is in her neck. This is a plate and screws that they fused into her vertebrae. She had a surgical fusion in her lower back at L4, 5, and S1, and she had another cervical fusion in C5 and C6. She had been dealing with lower back pain and neck pain for years. Had gotten in an accident back in 2018, and she had 3 surgeries from 2016 to 2018. She came to us, and when she came to us, literally what she told me is, Doc, I don't know if I can see a chiropractor. I said, why not? She said, well, I got in an accident. She kind of gave me a spill of her history. And she said, well, when I went to my neurosurgeon said that I should never go see a chiropractor. I said, why shouldn't you see a chiropractor? She said, well, my neurosurgeon said that it could mess up all of the screws and things that they put in me. I said, do I look like Superman? I can't bend still, I said, well, why don't you just try it out? I said, first of all, your neurosurgeon is a chiropractor. I'm not a neurosurgeon. I'm not going to go in here and cut you open and try to redo what he's already done. I say, however, you're still in pain. She was like, well, my neurosurgeon said that they want to do another surgery. I said, they want to do another surgery on you, and you already feel pain from the last surgeries that you've had, last 3. She starts treatment with us. She treated for 6 months. After those 6 months, she goes from an 8, 9 out of 10 pain. Now she's a 2, 3 out of 10 pain. She tells me, she says, Doc, I did a follow-up with my neurosurgeon. And when I did his follow-up, my neurosurgeon, he asked me how I've been doing. I said, what did you tell him? She said, well, at first I didn't want to tell him. She said, I told him I've been going to that chiropractor he told me not to go to. Needless to say, she said the face on the neurosurgeon was dumbfounded. He said, well, if it's been working, go figure. She ends up moving to Atlanta, so obviously we had to discharge her. She said, Doc, and I quoted everything she said. She said, my life was pain, pain, pain. She said, I noticed just 3 weeks in drastic changes. She said, my life has changed because I feel better. I sleep better than I have in years. I'm not in as much pain. She was like, I've learned to address things that was causing my pain, and my life has transformed because of the docs here at 100%. She literally changed her life by coming and receiving chiropractic when her surgeon told her not to even go to a chiropractor. They were actually recommending her to do more surgery. This is Polly. Polly, look at her back. That looks pretty bad. I see this stuff all the time. We see this stuff all the time. All right. Polly comes in, she comes in at 8, 9 out of 10 as well, on average. She said it interferes with her daily activities. She said, I can barely walk. Literally, when she first came to us, she walked just like this. All right. Polly couldn't stand straight, she couldn't do any of those things. All right. This Polly's been dealing with chiropractic for 10 months. She was like, Doc, she was like, I called my insurance company. I said, y'all better stop denying my claims. I need this. She like, it's been helping me and I can walk more. She goes on the trip. She like, Doc, I went on this trip. I started walking. She like, walk more than I usually do. She like, and I've been having less pain than what I used to have. Just by coming in and getting a chiropractor. By doing what was recommended to her at home, by coming in consistently, all these things. Okay? This is what chiropractic can do for people. It's not about, people say a lot of different things. Right? We work with different offices. We have different medical professionals that actually refer to us because the goal is not necessarily to just address your pain, your symptom. The goal is actually to help. All right? Final takeaways. What can I do now until I'm able to get to a chiropractor? Stretch often, drink plenty of water. I know a lot of y'all got sweet teas and lemonades. Drink that water on your table, okay? Take the proper supplements. Magnesium, vitamin D, omega-3s. All these things are important. Use a massage gun, plug, to help with sore and tight muscles. Do some physical activities and don't wait. Find yourself a chiropractor. And if you have one now, go to it. If it's been a while since you've been to your chiropractor, pick up the phone. If you say you got a chiropractor and you ain't been in 3 years, that is not your chiropractor no more. That is an ex that you broke up with and you ghosted. So, I will be your new relationship. All right? So if you need a new chiropractor, come and see us. All right, before the night is out, we have some stuff over here at the table. You can fill out some forms and paperwork. We are running just today only. Yeah. We call this a liquidity offer. All right. So today only we're doing what we call a 100% experience. All right, where you get 3 adjustments. You get a full 1-hour massage, a 30-minute stretch session with our lovely Mr. Humberto Rosario over here. And then a laser session to get you started, okay? All for $100. You don't get no better than that. All right, so you can do that anytime before today. This is the only time we offering this. All right, and it's only for the people that's in this room. We don't even offer this to the general public. All right. Of course, if you want to do something, that you can take home today, of course, we have these up at the table as well. We have massage guns that you can purchase, a back brace as well. My grandfather is 92 years old. He uses it every day. And my grandmother tried to steal it from me. All right. And then we have hypervolts that you can use also. These things are good when you're at work. They're good when you're at home. They're good when you're traveling, all of those things. All right. And this is just what we do when you come in for your visits. Thank you.
Does anybody have any questions for Dr. Percell Sanders? Any questions? Yes, sir.
Suppose you have a patient that has a hairline fracture in his spine.
Speak up. Okay. No.
Suppose you have a patient that has a hairline fracture in his spine.
Mm.
What would you recommend for that?
A hairline fracture? How long has
It's
it?
cracked. Yeah.
How long has the fracture been there?
Over 10 years.
Over 10 years?
Yeah.
That fracture is healed. Okay, so we can still treat it. We can still treat it.
Okay, thank you.
And any other questions?
Yes. What do you have for neuropathy?
Good question. Umberto, what do we usually do for neuropathy?
We work different ways. We got stretching, cardio, we go.
Oh, no. Oh, what is neuropathy?
Don't worry.
Neuro. Nah, I'm just joking. Go ahead.
Come on.
So when it comes to neuropathy, and I'll let him talk on it, but when it comes to neuropathy, we have to understand what neuropathy is first. All right. Neuropathy is damage in the actual nerve itself, distally. Okay, and by distally means when you talk about anywhere past your hips, down into your legs or your feet. Because of neuropathy, people can get many ongoing symptoms, burning, tingling, etc. Right? One thing we do in our office specifically when it comes to neuropathy is we use what we call lasers. So we do laser therapy. Laser therapy, we do a series of lasers where it helps with kind of healing the tissue itself and the nerve tissue. Right? Not to get too sciencey, but when we talk about the mitochondria, that's the powerhouse of the cell. And the powerhouse of the cell, when those cells are damaged, it works against us, right? So what laser does, it actually helps restoring the mitochondria. That way that healing process can take place a lot faster, right? So that's how we utilize when we're addressing neuropathy symptoms.
Is that a permanent fix or is that a temporary fix?
For some people, it is a permanent fix. For others, it's more so temporary, okay?
Any other questions?
Do you guys take insurance or is it like self-pay or?
Do you take insurance or is it self-pay?
Ask me, do I want to take insurance? We do
I don't
both.
have insurance, that's what I'm saying, like, is it like?
We do
where to
both.
go now? Okay.
We do self-pay and we take insurance as well. When it comes to insurance, if you do have any questions specifically about insurance, I will let Dr. Rose answer that question before you leave this evening. But we do both. We take insurance and we do self-pay as well. For some things, because insurance chiropractic is ever evolving. And so, yes, more insurance companies are covering chiropractic, but they're still not fully covering it, if that makes sense, all right? So there are some cases where some things can be covered, but there are other things that won't be covered. For instance, when it comes to neuropathy and the laser treatments that we do in the office, insurance does not cover them. So those are self-pay options. So many of our patients, some do insurance, some do self-pay, some do a hybrid, so they do both.
And I know for me, one of the things, a lot of people refuse to go to a chiropractor, even though they know all of the benefits, because of that fatality move that y'all do, the neck crack, right? What is it that you're feeling for? And how do you ease people's minds to make it to where it doesn't mean that they're gonna go paralyzed? Like, what are the parameters you put in place to eliminate the possibility of
Paralysis by analysis.
Christopher Reeves like stuff? All right, let's go.
So in an adjustment, all right, we call them audible cavitations. So when a chiropractor adjusts a patient, essentially, anybody who's been to a chiropractor, or you've heard a chiropractic adjustment, you'll hear a popping noise or sensation. That is an audible. That's basically gas in the joint being released. Okay? It's completely safe. The chances of a chiropractor giving you an adjustment and breaking your neck is, you got a better chance of winning the lottery than that happening. So that kind of give you a perspective.
So do you have like a counter in your office, like patient number 1,000,009? You might be the one.
And I'll put it this way, you know, and it's not to say that there aren't risks. There's risk to everything that we do. There's risk even for an adjustment, right? But the thing about it is, it's probably one of the safest methods than, say, going under the knife. Right? So a chiropractic adjustment is safer than you going to a neurosurgeon and them taking a knife and cutting you open and doing surgery, right? Because the likelihood of them nicking something, right, like a nerve or an artery, is way more likely than a chiropractor breaking your neck or, you know, severing an artery or something when they're doing an adjustment. Somebody had a question? Shit, just stay in the back. I got you. How you doing?
It's actually not a question, it's a testimony. I am a current patient of Dr. Sanders. I met him and his lovely wife about 2.5 years ago. They spoke at an event for my husband and I believed in chiropractic before I needed one. Then, this year, I needed one. And I was actually headed to the emergency room. I told my husband, I said, let's pray, we gotta figure out if I need to go to the emergency room. What I think about was how much this is going to end up costing. And the things that they would say that I needed and all these other things. And my husband came in my office and he said, let's go to the chiropractor. And I knew that was God. And we went to 100% chiropractor with Dr. Sanders. I have been going now for 2.5 months. Around approximately around that. And I will tell you, I'm walking like not my normal self. My leg is no longer bothering me. It is still pain there, but not anywhere near like it was. And so I was going twice a week and now down to once a week. And so we're just going to continue till I can see, you know, the manifestation of it. So I truly am somebody that have now, I talked about it before I actually believed that it would really work for me, because I just felt that our bodies are supposed to heal themselves the way God made it. And so now I am a 100% believer. And so anyone that, you know, is contemplating it or, you know, preventative, please do it. It really will help you.
Absolutely. Oh, man.
And this testimony is brought to you and paid by. I'm just kidding.
Yeah, where should Dr. Percell send his invoice? That was amazing. Everybody give it up for Dr. Percell Sanders.